While doing a 10-hour Going Free stream in the service to White Wellbeing several weeks ago, I was told that a man by the name of Sad had just published a book wherein he introduced his concept of thought diseases. He named them idea pathogens. Of course, thousands of people in our rapidly growing community know that I originated the idea of meme pathogens, or MPs, 15 years ago, and that service to White Wellbeing and Going Free is a practice that addresses these MPs. They know that examples of MPs are, quote, politically correct ideas that threaten Western values, the scientific method, intellectual freedom, liberty, and more. They know that I have written several books, lectured, and produced thousands of hours of content on videocasts, podcasts, and interviews. They know that this system has enabled thousands of people to go free of these MPs, to improve their health, get off the path to suicide, go clean of drugs, improve their spirituality, get married, have children, make beautiful memories, and much more. Going Free has been tested and refined over 15 years, and it has a prodigious track record of successfully improving bodies, minds, and spirits. I ordered Gad's book as I learned of another fundamental similarity between his work and mine, and I publicly wrote him to ask if he was aware of my work. He didn't respond to me, but he did write a post about me and about all of the good folks going free. He writes, "A white supremacist..." Okay, let's try this again. A white supremacist, literally, whom I had never heard of until a few days ago, is arguing that he wrote some self-published, quote, book about anti-white memes and how to cure oneself from these memes. Apparently, if you are a white guy who works for a living, pays his taxes, obeys the law, treats everyone fairly, and has a college education, Gad believes that the books you author are not actual books. They don't qualify as books. They're not good enough. Everyone knows that only pretentious elites in ivory towers, superciliously pontificating to fly over country, write real books. Of course, I don't know if Gad is one of those sublime entities or not. I'm sure he's a nice guy. And as we work through his first statement about me and you all, we will see his charm coming through. Let's continue. Hints, bruh. Hold on. Is Gad racially stereotyping me with the colloquialism bruh, which is associated with less intelligent and less educated members of communities other than his own? Boy, that's kind of a part of his soul that he really shouldn't have revealed. Hints, bruh. I should have, quote, recognized his work, writes Gad. It's truly unbelievable. He alluded to the fact that I was... And hints, you know, are going to... What a terribly ugly thing for him to say about Jewish people, and what a terribly anti-white thing to baselessly impute to a Westman. I referred to him on a post that is still available for all to see as a wonderful Jewish academic, so that there would be no question whether or not his Jewishness played a part in my posts. The beginning of his book, The Parasitic Mind, is replete with him discussing his Jewishness and anecdotes of his people's persecution, so I wanted to make it very clear that my posts had nothing to do with his Jewishness. In fact, I lauded his community for supporting one of their own, as I condemned my community for ignoring one of theirs. And in response, he goes straight to the anti-white canard that anything less than deferential sycophancy by a white person is evil and based solely in his... well, you fill in the blank. Continuing. He has since sent his white power, literally, gang to spam my Amazon page, my channel, my Twitter feed to promote his white power book. Ah, so caring about the well-being of white people makes you evil. It makes you the anti-white slur white supremacist and the anti-white slur white power advocate. If advocating for the well-being of the vulnerable members of Western kind makes you evil, then to be virtuous is to do the opposite. It is to advocate for the ill-being of Western kind. I do so hope that Mr. Sad has misspoken here. I'm sure he has. Misspoken, that is. But is this how academics think and speak? They jump right to baseless conclusions? Is this Gad's disposition? No research, but right to scabrous ad hominem and traducement? Gad's Lilliputian screed is about as entertaining as those wretched alternate history novels where the bad guys win. But onward. He is engaging in diabolical defamation and libel. Really? On my show, I said that even though there were some initial similarities between the work you just created and the work that I've been doing for 15 years, I was starting with the position that you were a good person. So, as I don't know you, I begin from the position that you are a good person, and you, obviously not knowing anything about me, stereotype me as a ne'er-do-well, an evil character in the anti-white narrative, deserving to be dehumanized for all of the outcomes that dehumanization engenders. And you are the one talking about being diabolically defamed and libeled? Nothing to see here, folks. No irony or hyperbole or projection here, nothing to see. He is engaging in diabolical defamation and libel, and yet there are apparently no consequences to his actions and those of his insane white well-being fans. Consequences? So anything less than adulatory obeisance should be punished. And what about this extremely revealing, quote, insane white well-being fans? So let me get this right. Is Gad saying here that caring about the well-being of the vulnerable members of Western kind is insane? Perhaps, if thus categorized, could people who have such concerns be forcibly medicated for their beliefs? Sad? And then using quotes to draw into question the legitimacy of caring about the well-being of vulnerable members of Western kind, the elderly, the sickly, the poor, white children. Caring about these people, if they happen to be white, appears to be something that Sad considers insane and illegitimate. I hope I'm misinterpreting this. Perhaps I am. I'm fallible like every other human being. Alright, let's wrap this up. Life can be truly unjust. Tell me about it, Gad. You write a book with an idea for which you will receive societal credit as the brilliant originator, even though the idea was in practice 15 years ago. And you are scoring a fabulous financial success with the assistance of your community and your publisher, which, unless I'm wrong, please look into this for yourselves, folks, is a publishing company owned by a white family with a family member, who financially backed Richard Spencer and his endeavors. But back to Gad. By the way, he and some of his white power fans follow me on Twitter. I just blocked them, but I suspect they will mount an attack. Enough with the, quote, they are attacking me charade. You are rich and I am poor. You are part of the establishment, employing abstractionist ideas, and I am on the outside, daring to help white people who are taught to hate themselves as evil incarnate by the modern world. You are the one using legal verbiage, not me. So enough with the, please stop hurting me, as you are attacking me. And even though I cannot order anyone to do anything, I ask everyone to please leave Gad alone. Not even all of that money is enough to comfort him in the face of your criticism. I could have ignored this lying thief's actions. Talk about libel. Good grief. I say that the similarities between your book and mine look suspicious, and you call me a lying thief? Not only have I been at this for 15 years, but I also published 3 years ago on the very platform, Amazon, on which your book was just published in October of 2020. I could have ignored this lying thief's actions, but then again, I cannot allow a racist miscreant, of course, using the anti-white slur racist, rehabilitating a dying concept that has done so much damage to Western civilization, gad. And what's more, a man who is supposed to be addressing and remedying idea pathogens that threaten Western civilization uses a panoply of poisonous idea pathogens in his Lilliputian screed against yours truly. I cannot allow a racist miscreant to ride on my coattails to financial success. Some people's dishonesty and diabolical ways are truly disheartening, especially to someone like me, who is rooted in an unrealistic purity bubble. Oh well. Gad, listen, you're probably a good guy. Let me read the rest of your book when I can get some time, and we'll see how many other similarities there are. I mean, if you are as brilliant as your community says you are, then you can't really be blamed, and you can't blame yourself for eventually coming to a similar or identical path that I have been on for many years. Maybe we're both just brilliant, so chin up, and bye-bye. Hold on, there's a bracketed segment. It looks like he finishes with, I did not tag the individual in question because the last thing I wish to do is to grant him the attention that he craves. That said, it is disheartening that at Twitter support and at Jack have thus far allowed this to take place. Which reveals, Gad, that you reached out to Twitter to ban me. And so, an abstractionist, a worshiper of ideas as more important than the flesh that creates those ideas, ideas like freedom of speech, calls on Twitter, and specifically Jack Dorsey of Twitter, to silence me. Well now, that is a punchline.